Hi, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you from Hassan Shariq from Toronto and Adnan Khalid from Calgary into our ninth episode. Believe it or not, Adnan, it's already the ninth episode of Immigration Buzz by Adnan and Shariq. Um, we have been getting quite good feedback, especially the PNP programs that we've been talking about. And today's session is again about a PNP program, that is not talked too much about. It's a small province. It's a small PNP program, but again, PNPs always have these opportunities for people who are missing out on the express entry. So what we'll do is that, as the normal routine, that first we'll look at the PNP program for PEI, Prince Edward Island. This is on the east coast of Canada, a small island-based province. And once we go through the details for this particular program, then we'll move on towards the second session of our program, which is taking live question and answer from all of you. So with that, I'll hand it over to Adnan, who is going to share his expertise about the PEI PNP. Adnan, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine and very excited for this particular one because believe me or not, people don't talk about this province and I don't know why. But it excites me a lot, and that is why the reason we discussed and we said, okay, let's bring it up because we want to educate people to let them know what are the options during this time they have.
Yeah,
All right, so
yeah,
let me share my screen, and I'm sure it's going to be very interesting one today.
yeah, yeah.
All right, guys. So please don't mind if my head is tilted a little bit because I'm going to look at the other screen as well. So let's start with it. So Prince Edward, first of all, let me show you where it is on the map of Canada. So if you can see a golden arrow here shows a very small like island. So it's here. Let me zoom it a little bit to
Yeah, yeah, that'll
make it
be
more clear.
clear. Yeah.
So here it is. So you everybody know Ontario, they know Quebec, they know Alberta, British Columbia, but here it is, the smaller one. This is the Prince Edward Island. So that was important to let you know because first of all, people say, "Oh, where it is?" So it's on the map. It's a smaller one, a very beautiful island though.
Yeah, yeah.
But here it is. So let's go into detail of this particular one.
And I'll just add a little interesting fact that Canada is so huge that normally when people think about Ontario, Quebec, these are huge. Prince Edward Island for Canada is small, but if you compare it with some other European countries, maybe there are some very famous European countries which are the size of this province, but it's just that not many people know about it.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
interesting. And especially the Atlantic immigration program, we will talk about it sometime on that.
yeah,
This is one of the province that is included there.
yeah.
So we will touch base later on. But today we want to focus our energies on Prince Edward Island PNP program. All right, so I'm going to go back on the normal mood and let me take you what are the programs they have. So Prince Edward Island have the following, which you can see on screen, the programs available and open right now. So first one is Prince Edward Island Express Entry stream. This is the most famous, renowned one, and I kept the order also in the same way. The second one is Prince Edward Island Critical Worker stream. Third is Skilled Worker in Prince Edward Island stream. Fourth is Skilled Workers Outside Canada stream. Fifth is International Graduate stream. This is for the people who graduate from Prince Edward Island institutions. The next is business startup and entrepreneurship, and the last one is Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. This will talk about it like in some other
Yeah.
episode. But yeah, what we are going to do today, we will try to give you a glimpse of what these programs are in a very brief and easy way. We'll try to explain that because some of you might qualify under this team and you are not aware of it. So this is the time to educate. All right, so let's jump in. I try to consolidate all the information on one or two slides, so I will try to explain it. But of course, you are open to ask questions. Just post it here if there is any confusion you want to elaborate a little further. So here you go. So this is the programs on the right side where I'm moving my mouse right now here. So it is the programs which we just touched base previously, and then here is just description. What are the requirements basically they are looking for? All right, so first let's read the Express Entry stream. This is the most famous one, especially the people who are outside of Canada and they have international experience. They want to qualify under this particular PNP stream, and most of you might have your files in this one if you are outside Canada. So Express Entry profile for Prince Edward Island Express Entry stream, it is required. From the name, it depicts yes, you need to have an Express Entry profile in the IRCC pool before you start even the nomination program here. So this is yes. Connection to the province, no. It means like you do not have to be in the province. You do not have to have a work experience and any education. So it's not a requirement here. So that's why it's no. You do not require a job offer. So this is where the interest comes in for the people who are outside Canada. Oh yeah, we met this condition as well. Language proficiency, it is as per the IRCC programs, the federal program, FSW, Federal Skilled Worker, Canadian Experience Class, and Federal Skilled Trade Class. Level of education, high school and above. It is the same requirement for the Express Entry. Work experience as per Express Entry requirements, federal programs. Age as per Express Entry requirements. Income settlement funds, yes, it required as per your family size for this particular program. Average processing time pre-COVID. I mentioned pre-COVID. I have to because people when they look at it 6 months, but yeah, it's not gonna happen, guys. So just stay tuned until the life comes back to normal. So it's 6 months for now. Before COVID, it was 6 months. Now it is. We don't know. We don't want to put any number. The next is the critical workers team under Prince Edward Island. So in this one, you do not need an express entry profile. So you can start with the expression of interest with the province directly. Connection that the province, yes, it requires you need to have a work experience in Prince Edward Island. Okay. Job offer, yes, it required from Prince Edward Island employer in no code COD. Now, just for the interest, why there is no code is COD? Because this stream is for the people who belongs to the field of trucking side.
Yeah.
So that's why the no code COD comes into the play. Language proficiency, very low, CLB 4 or above, because this is for the low category job codes. Level of education, only secondary school. If you like have a metric degree or 10th grade, O levels, yeah, so you qualify here. Work experience, yes, have worked a minimum of 6 months full time for a Prince Edward Island employer. So this is the condition which is important to meet for this particular program. Age is 18 to 59 years. Income settlement fund still required. Now, this is interesting, Hassan, and we do have to focus on that because most of the time people know if they have a job offer, they do not need to prove income settlement fund. But no, for Prince Edward Island, you need to show.
You still need to show. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you need to show. So average processing time before COVID was 18 months. So for this particular stream. Now let's jump on to the next one, which is the skilled worker in Prince Edward Island. Skilled worker who are inside Prince Edward Island,
Right.
not outside, inside. So express entry profile, no, not required. So these are the people who are on a worker permit or something and they want to convert into permanent residency. So this is the stream they used. Job offer, yes, required, and in the no code A or B because this is a skilled worker category. So you need to be in the no code A or B, and also O. I haven't mentioned it, but yeah, it's there. Language proficiency, CLB 4 or above. Now that is interesting. Even for this high no code, the minimum requirement is CLB 4. Level of education is post secondary diploma or degree or higher, like of course not less than that. Work experience, this is interesting, have worked a minimum of 2 years full time in the last 5 years. Okay, so your experience can be in any other province, but right now you are in Prince Edward Island and you have a job offer there from a Prince Edward Island employer. Age requirement 18 to 59 years. Income settlement fund, yes, it required, although you do have your job offer, but
Job
you still
offer.
need
Yeah.
it. You still need it. Average processing time pre-COVID 18 months. So this is for skilled worker in Prince Edward Island. Now, if you see, this is the interesting one for the people who are outside Canada. Skilled worker outside the province. Express
Uh,
entry. Yeah, yeah, Hassan.
Adnan, before you move on to this one, the previous one, which is skilled worker in PEI, important thing, work experience. So see, it says I have worked a minimum of 2 years full time in last 5 years. So even people who say were in Prince Edward Island, maybe students who graduated from PEI university or college, and they worked there, and then because of COVID or some other reason moved out of the province, but they have had 2 years of experience in the past, even they're eligible. So it's not that right now you should be in, but in the last 5 years you need that for 2 years. So people who are struggling in some other provinces, maybe they have a chance under this stream in PIA. Yeah, just
That's
want
very
to,
correct.
yeah,
Yes, that's correct. All right, so let's move on to the next one, skilled worker outside Prince Edward Island. Now, these are particular interest to the peoples who are outside Canada, who wants to maximize their chances, how to come here. Now, this one, you do not need an express entry profile. Connection to the province, not required. Job offer, yes. Now, here, people, although you are outside Canada, but you got an offer from
yeah.
Prince Edward Island employer. So, yeah, you qualify into that. And also, your knockout should be OA and B, not less than that. Language proficiency, it's low here, CLB 4 or above. It's interesting, Hassan, because it is slowly trying to link with the immigration, Atlantic immigration program. So
Yeah,
the language requirement is low. Level of education, post-secondary diploma, degree, 2 years, like minimum and higher, not less than that. Work experience, have worked a minimum of 2 years full time in last 5 years.
mm,
So this experience can be international,
yeah,
right? That is interesting here. Age 18 to 59 years. Income settlement funds still required, and the processing time before COVID was 18 months. So this is in general related with the skilled people in kind of like who are in the pool, outside of pool, but they have experience or something. So we try to cover here like four programs. Hassan, you
no,
want to add something?
yeah, yeah. No, so with this last one, skilled worker outside PEI, not just people who are say outside of pool. This is again attractive for people who are not in the province of PEI, who are in Canada, maybe somewhere else, because
Yeah.
you know, in Quebec there are people in BC where the programs are very competitive. So say if you have Canadian work experience, maybe you're working somewhere else on a postgraduate work permit, this could be one possibility where you could easily land into a job in PEI, because the pool of applicants is not so much, and you've had 2 years of full time work experience, maybe in some other Canadian province. So not just applicants who are outside of Canada, but applicants who are in Canada but not in PEI. This particular stream is very attractive for you folks as well.
Exactly, exactly. This is very interesting program. Like overall, if you look into all these four classes of permanent residency we discuss here, very interesting. Like less talk, but yeah, options are there. If you want to have a permanent residency of Canada, must look into it. All right. So, Hassan, I think let's move to the next one.
Yeah,
Here, we would cover two programs, the remaining one. One is the Prince Edward Island International Graduate, like the people who are coming as a student, they complete their education from PEI Educational Institute and they want to avail the permanent residency. That is the program for them. And this next one is the business startup under PEI. We will just highlight what the minimum requirements are and then we'll leave it there. So Prince Edward International Graduate, you do not have to have an express entry profile. You are a fresh student, you came out, that's fine. You don't need an express entry profile. Connection to the province, yes, required, but not experience, education. So
yeah,
this is the difference between the previous one and this one. Job offer, yes, it required a minimum of 2 years. Now, Hassan, that is very interesting because we both worked on professional jobs, so we know that usually the job offer is for 1 year.
yeah.
This is interesting here. They need it for 2 years.
2 years.
Little bit like on higher side, but yeah,
Yeah,
this is their condition. The next one is the language proficiency, again low. They kept it CL4 even for students. That's very interesting. Level of education, post-secondary diploma degree obtained in PEI. Now, that's it interesting. You need to
yeah.
have that education in Prince
Prince
Edward
Edward
Island
Island.
because you cannot like graduate from some other province and then you come here under this particular program and if you want to have a job offer.
And I
Yes,
just
yes.
like to highlight one thing, Adnan, that a lot of times you get these queries, I get these queries, that people who are looking at studying in Canada, so they ask as to once we finish our studies, what are the options in terms of PR pathway? So these are the kind of programs. Now, I always say this, that it's hard to sort of give you a list of programs at this stage, because somebody is going to graduate in maybe a year or 2 year or 4 years time. But see, these are the programs which become applicable for graduates of Canada, and then for that specific province. Now, this particular stream, only graduates who are coming out of PEI institution can be eligible for these. So nobody else. The number might actually be small, but the supply is small as well. So this
Right.
is very important to highlight that there are these exclusive options available for graduates of Canadian institutions, for all of Canada, then for the specific province that they are graduating from.
And Hassan, I think this is where the planning comes into play. When you are thinking of studying in Canada, you need to understand what's going to happen
Yeah,
after you graduate. If you want to go back, that's fine. Everybody like have different plans, but you always try to pick an option where you have maximum chances in case you want to settle
yeah,
in future. So these provinces are open because the population is less. They want to attract more young youth here in this particular province, so they have programs to settle those students in their particular province.
yeah,
All right, so let's move a little bit ahead. So work experience not required. Age is 18 to 59 years. Income settlement funds required. Yes, here.
yeah.
So again, but it's
What's
low
it?
because most of these students are single. Most of the time, the income requirements, even if it's like it's few $1,000s, so
Yeah,
they can manage that. Average processing time before COVID is 18 months.
yeah,
So just to mention here, sometimes one question came up, Hassan, that is what we'll do in 18 months because the processing taking so much time, but they forget they already have a job offer and they are mostly on a PGWP or
yeah,
worker permit, so they are not out of status while
yeah,
the processing is going on.
yeah,
So you need to understand that as well here. All right, so next one is the business startup. Very briefly, we'll mention it. This is a big giant to cover all the business streams and all the different provinces, but generally, um, this one express entry profile is not required. Connection to the province not required. Job offer is actually not required, but they need a performance agreement.
yeah,
Now, in performance agreement, all these sale deeds, agreements signed with the other company, business taking over, like all that kind of paperwork will fall into performance agreements. So you need to show that you bought some business, 100% stake, 33.3% stake. What is your role in that? All that paperwork will come into performance agreement. Language proficiencies still required, but low as CLB4 or above. Level of education is only secondary school, very low on that side. Work experience, yes, have transferable management skills because they are going to take over business. So you need to have experience in business ownership and management side, higher management side.
yeah,
Next is the age. Age is changed from 21 to 59, not from 18 to 59. So they need little bit mature people on this particular side, little bit,
yeah,
not big difference.
yeah,
Net worth, you need to prove you have your worth 600,000 Canadian dollar that you can show through certified accountant reports. You need to prove that you have these properties, your own bank balance and everything above 600,000 Canadian dollar. All right, so average processing time is not known because these programs differ from time to time. Sometimes it's very quick, sometimes it's delayed. So it's it's not nice to mention any pre-COVID number here also. So we kept it empty here. So this was the programs in general and their eligibility, right? So Hassan, what we'll do now, we will go and move into the previous draws, what happened, and what were the scores, and when is the next draw gonna come in. So we'll just talk briefly about that particular one as well.
fair enough.
Sorry, one typing error here. Just ignore that. What I will do, I will just zoom in to make sure we see only the content here. All right, so this is the draws when happened and when is the next draw gonna come, what is the current status. So Prince Edward Island Express Entry, this is the one which we talked about. So basically the last draw came on September 16th 2021, so recently, like almost 4 weeks ago. 129 invitations were sent for the candidates who have already their profile in Express Entry. Now, this 129 invitations which were sent, there is another further detail to it which will not go, but I will just mention it, that the province announced their own NOCs which they are looking for. So they will pick whatever they need: health
Yeah,
sector, agriculture, sea, job, manufacturing, whatever they pick. But total number of invitations that were issued to the people who have their profiles in Express Entry were 129. All right. So the current status of this program is still open. It's working on fine. Like the next draw is tentatively October 21st, 2021. This is the date. And if they announce, we will make separate video for announcing the results. But this is the tentative date we have on this particular one, Express Entry. The second one, skilled workers in PEI, same day the draw happened. 129 invitation also sent under this particular stream. Next draw is October 21st, 2021. Skilled workers outside Canada. So they also 129 invitations sent. Next draw is October 21st. Critical workers 129. Hasn't they kept 129 number? I don't
129.
know.
They've
Maybe to just to equal all these
yeah,
programs, you know.
they've kept equity in all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is still open. The important thing is the program is still open. Draw is expected soon on that. So hopefully in a week time, maybe after 10 days, 9 days, we will hear again from the Prince Edward Island about the results and the particular NOCs and all that. So Hassan, that was for the Prince Edward Island in brief. We tried to cover the programs. We let our audience know this is one of the province they can look into, particular draws and all that. Do you want to say anything, or we can just move on?
Yeah, just quickly, one thing that I'll share here, that if the last draw, the details that Adnan shared, so there were 5 different categories, and for each category about 129.30. So that's what, like, close to about 650 invitations at this particular time. So just see that a lot of people might have not even heard of the PNP of PEI, and just in the month of September they issued invitations to about 650 people. Do keep in mind that this province will not have as many nomination spots as maybe Ontario or some other bigger province, but still, it's not that things are not happening and that there's options. And also because our audience is people who are outside of Canada and who are in Canada as well. So sometimes people who are in other provinces might be looking at these options. So there's always opportunity. It is just that how you find that opportunity and how you plan for it. And I always say that you can only win a race if you're part of it. So if you don't have your express entry profiles made, if you've not submitted your expression of interest for these different provinces, once the draw happens, you've lost the chance.
You know, Hassan, the interesting thing is sometimes the score is so low for the candidate, like say 350 or something, but his knockout, his profession is so unique. He
Yeah.
will get an invitation because he's already in express entry waiting, and he will suddenly get an invitation. Although the other person who has 468, 70 score, he's still waiting in the pool. So that is very interesting. You need to maximize the chances. Really, you need to maximize. Put your application where you feel like you can get picked up. There are a number of factors which decide whether you have chances of getting picked up. There are so many things we looked into: job responsibilities, your profession, no code, what is happening previously, what is the economics of the province going on, what particular fields they are looking into.
Yeah.
We do all that stuff to and give information to the to the guys and our clients here, so that they know where they have to spend their energy into.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was interesting one, really.
Yeah. And also something that you mentioned, Adnan, very important, that each province has its own economic priorities, and these PNP programs are based on that. So this is very important to know. Now, for those of you who've seen the map of Prince Edward Island, which was shared in the beginning, see, it's a coastal territory. So definitely a lot of their economy is related to the whole marine biology, the fisheries, and that kind of stuff. If you have qualifications in that field from within Canada or even outside Canada, and you have experience as well, there's a great likelihood that you'll be considered. But you might have a knock which may not have any relevance to the economic preferences of this particular province. So these are the factors that you need to keep in mind before doing this planning, and those who are interested, we can definitely help you in that kind of planning. So with that, Adnan, this brings us to the end of the first session. We'll take a quick break. In that time, all of you can enjoy a beautiful Canadian scenery, and we'll be back where we'll have the regular live question and answer session. So enjoy. these few moments of a beautiful Canadian landscape. Welcome back. So let's move on towards the comments and questions. So first, it's Faisal. Faisal is saying salam, walaikum salam. Faisal from my side and from Adnan side as well. Um, Muhammad Ozi, hi Shariq, howdy mate. That's a very Aussie way of saying it. So hi there, mate. Um, and we don't have a question. That's
That's
interesting.
interesting today. Maybe Prince Edward Island is so, people really don't like this province. I don't know why, but this is really very one of my favorite
Yeah,
in terms of PNP stuff. So yeah, that's fine. It's fine. We can wrap it up. And people can post question also, like after the our session is ended.
we just had a question. So there's comments about being the program very informative. So there's a question from Sayyid Iqbal. Is this PNP good for 40 years, 8 years of age? Adnan?
Yes, for sure, because the age limit you met it. Now the thing is, if your profession is really, one of the hottest NOC we call it, like you can get picked up if you are already in express entry pool. No matter if your score is low, because once you get a nomination from Prince Edward Island, you are going to get 600 points like any other provinces, and that's going to bring your profile on top. So that, yes, the success is, first of all, you need to put your profile into express entry, which basically gives an idea you already qualified for the federal skill program. And then the next thing is just hold on and put your expression of interest. Oh, Hassan, that is interesting thing we have not mentioned, that once you put your profile into express entry, you do not automatically qualify for Prince Edward Island.
Yeah,
You need to, yeah,
there's a
there's a
separate.
separate expression of interest you need to enter into once you have your express entry pool. So it's a two-step system. One is that you need to put your express entry profile, and then you need to go on a Prince Edward Island PNP program website, and then you need to create the expression of interest, that long boring thing you need to complete it to stay in the pool. And
Yeah,
also make there is some technicalities, like of course your express entry profile has to match with your PEI PNP thing. Like you have to show the expression there in express entry, then you have to show a separate expression of interest you have to submit in Prince Edward Island. So it's not so easy like on a process wise. But yeah, there are things which you need to do. To answer to your question is yes, express entry profile number one, and then let's see what is your profession. Keep following on that.
yeah, yeah. And very good point that Adnan mentioned over here, that there are certain provinces, like we've talked about Ontario in the past. There's Alberta, where you just create your express entry profile, and while the profile is being created, you just over there you pick up the choice that you are interested in um, uh, being invited or being considered by the province of Ontario or Alberta. And whenever they do their draw, they send you an invitation. Um, they have Prince Edward Island. They have a program for express entry applicants, but it's not an automatic one. So eligibility, you will only be picked if you have an express entry profile and then you have submitted an expression of interest. Pretty similar to how it is for Saskatchewan, Adnan. We've discussed that in the past. So that's very important to keep in mind. There's a follow-up question by Sayyid Iqbal, which is what of Muslim community here? I think he wants to know what sort of Muslim. Um, well, Sayyid Iqbal, what I'd say is that Canada, on the whole, has quite a bit of Muslim population, considering that it's not a Muslim country, and it's spread around. definitely the smaller provinces, the smaller towns will not have as dense a Muslim population, but there's always some sort of, if you're looking at the major cities at least, there is that uh, presence of Muslim community. So there is always the option, but don't compare it with maybe say Toronto or bigger cities like the Calgary, Edmonton, even Montreal. These places have a larger one, but there will always be some presence over there.
And Hassan also, if you remember when this Syrian crisis came and Canada brought a lot of refugees from Syria, they actually settled in these Atlantic
In
provinces
the
all around.
provinces, yeah,
So
yeah,
there,
yeah.
there is a
So
good chances there is
yeah,
a Muslim community which is
and
growing.
yeah, yeah. So next up, Faisal has a question. So in all provinces in Canada, can you name provinces where EUI will be submitted directly to official site of subjective province? I don't have it off my head, Adnan, but
I can spend something
yeah,
on
yeah,
that. So the thing is, when you're putting your Express Entry profile, there is an option came in which provinces you are interested to settle there. So in those provinces, you can check like maybe all, maybe one or two you want. So once you show your interest of the provinces there, now there are certain provinces which do not require you to submit a separate expression of interest, right? For example, Alberta is the one. You do not need to have a separate expression of interest. Also, Ontario Human Capital Stream, you do not need to separately apply for expression of interest to get in their particular system, because what they're going to do, these two provinces or these two programs are linked with the Express Entry right away. And if you are on their knock list, high points scoring system, they will send you the nomination, not nomination, send you the interest, like to invite you to file your expression of interest if you are getting picked up. Alberta, Ontario, Human Capital Stream. Now, some provinces like Saskatchewan, Prince Edward Island, Newfoundland is they have stopped like for timing PNP.
yeah,
But these are the provinces, these two particularly Saskatchewan and Prince Edward Island, where they ask you, once you submit your Express Entry profile, you go onto their website and then separately submit your expression of interest
yeah,
with your Express Entry credentials you have, with the information, job seeker code and all that. They need that info, so you need to show for these particular province, yes, I'm really interested in, put your application there. And then what will happen, it's just an expression of interest. It does not mean you are going to get nomination or something, but you actually went one more step as per their requirements to tell them, yes, I'm interested, if you can look into my particular profile, and then they will keep you in the system. Also remember one more thing, all these profiles have an expiry date. Express Entry, Prince Edward Island, PNP, Expression of Interest profile, Saskatchewan profile, everything has an expiry, usually 1 year from the date you created and submit your expression of interest. So that is the thing. I think I might answer this question here.
yeah. And one important thing that you raised over here, Adnan, that not just for all the provinces which are linked to whose PNP is linked to Express Entry. So Express Entry itself has a 1 year validity, but that there can be factors because of which your Express Entry profile becomes ineligible. And this is something. This is a query that I got the other day. Um, if your IELTS is expiring, your Express Entry profile will become ineligible the day it reaches that 2 years mark, even if it's not 12 months. And do keep in mind that for all these provinces, Saskatchewan, Prince Edward Island, where it is Express Entry, at the time of invitation by the province, your Express Entry profile must be eligible. So just an important thing, that you cannot have an expired Express Entry profile either because of 12 months time or some other factor, and then have a notice of invitation, and then that will be an issue once you submit that application. You could make a new profile, but it will be an issue.
And Hassan, one more thing. Because the time was short, we have not covered like the whole program, how it works. Every like these provinces where you are submitting your expression of interest, they need also that you have to have a minimum requirements to be met, like on point system, because this is a system within the system. So once, like for SINP, we know that 110 points you need to score 60 points minimum to be eligible to have your profile in the express. Same it is for Prince Edward Island. There is a scoring table where your score will be assessed, and then you will be picked up. If you met the minimum eligibility requirement of these points, then you are only allowed to enter your expression of interest. So you cannot just go blindly and put your PNP in it. You need to have another assessment for that particular province. If you met it, then you can put your profile. And these score criterias are same: age, language experience, all that, like factors, adaptability. If somebody relative is there, there's separate scoring point, increase your chances. So this is a system within the system which need to be followed.
And
Yeah,
and Prince Edward Island is one of those where you actually get more points for a higher age, right, Adnan?
that's there is one more province which I'm going to bring in upcoming some episode. I
Okay.
want to hide it because that particular province is very interesting, because the score actually got increased when you get little older.
Okay.
So
And
anyhow,
and
I'll
and,
keep
and
it.
yeah, and the reason is that these provinces actually require people in specific occupations, and then they require people to have a bit of work experience so that they can bring those expertise and actually contribute towards the economic preference areas of that province. So that's why they actually give you more points if you are, say, above 30, like not very close to 50, but maybe between 30 to 40. 40s is the age bracket where you get more points because then you'll have more experience in them.
Hassan, there is one province which always surprised me with their programs, with their unique way of calculating the points, and we are going to cover that. It's similar to Prince Edward Island, but it's actually a Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Very interested. I just want to bring the map again. This is the particular province which is a surprising one. Most of the people do not look into it, but yeah, this is the one,
yeah,
Newfoundland Labrador, which is very, very interesting on the PNP programs. And we will cover that. We will try to bring all those PNPs in front of you, like to open the options, which very few people talk about it,
yeah,
because they only think that these programs fall into Atlantic immigration program. No, that is not correct. Atlantic immigration program is a federal program
yeah,
that is on top of that. These provinces have their own programs under the federal umbrella. So
yeah,
that is we are going to bring in upcoming episodes.
yeah, yeah. So I think that's all. Adnan, there is one question which is a generic one. What about automotive technician scope in Canada? See, Shwak, it's it, definitely any technical profession has scope in Canada, but there's a lot of other factors to look at, like what sort of qualification you have, what experience you have, what is your age. A lot of these trade professions are licensed and regulated in Canada. So you just don't need to have work experience, but certain qualification or licensing. So a lot of things have to have a look. A technical profession like this definitely has scope in Canada. This is I think something we could say. So I think that's all the questions that we've had.
Yeah, a lot of good responses also, and we appreciate that you like our program. Thank you so much for that. Questions still coming up. Maybe people are getting excited now. I'm not sure, but yeah, you can take the last one, Hassan, if you want, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
we can
sure.
wrap it up.
Yeah, sure. It's more. It's again a generic one that it's based on the comment that you made that Newfoundland and Labrador stopped their processing for a while. Why and when will it resume? So Dan, I'll hand it over to you.
I like this particular one. There are still some programs which is going on. Some of them actually came as an offer, like in January, February. They introduced a PNP program for 2 months, straight PR for the people who are outside Canada, who belong to a very particular knock code, like
Yeah,
medical profession, mostly because of COVID situation that came up, and especially the cyber technology and computer related, all that cloud computing. I still remember that a lot of the clients who I met with at that particular time have those particular professions, who was already in the pool, and they got actually the nomination. So
yeah,
Newfoundland always surprise you with the short programs which they bring up. It is tedious, it is laborious. I know the procedure is very long, but if your goal is to settle in Canada, not like you are not looking into any particular province, then These provinces are actually the ones which are very welcoming for new immigrants. We will try to cover like the Newfoundland Labrador in a separate episode, of course, for PNP, and we will give you more update on that.
Okay. Fair enough. I think that's all. So with that, once again, thank you very much for tuning in. All those who signed in to the program, share your feedback, put in your queries in the comment section. The least that we can request is that all of you, whichever platform you're watching this, like this goes live on YouTube and Facebook for Adnan's platforms, which is Felkis Immigration, and Shariq Immigration, mine. So whichever platform you're watching this on, do click that like button, subscribe, and do share it as well, because that sort of helps promote this thing. So yeah, your support, your feedback, greatly appreciated. We'll see you next week again at the same time with a new program, and we'll answer all the questions that you have. And again, as usual, before we'll leave you with another beautiful Canadian scenery to enjoy. Take care of yourself and your families. We'll see you next week.